This is a hamstring technique, and this is going to resist the knee into terminal extension to reduce some of that eccentric load on the hamstring and then assist back into that transition into flexion again. We're using a 3-inch or 7.5 centimetre piece of tape today. Depending on the size of the person, we can use 2 3-inch pieces, one medially and laterally, or perhaps 2 2-inch pieces, one medially and one laterally. If we're using one centrally like this, it's a good idea just to have a little piece of Fixamol or Hyperfix or a dressing behind the knee to reduce the likelihood of irritation. And then we can split one end and pass this around the shank so we get good purchase on that lever. And it also means that even when we're in full extension, there is some posteriorly directed force vector to create a flexion moment at the knee. We then need to bring them into that short position, which is about 130 degrees of extension, and we're going to run through here. Now if they do have a muscle strain, we can come in and box up all of this soft tissue to reduce that stress on those muscle fibres a little bit, as we've seen with some of the research on box taping. So then we simply start with our 2 tails at this distal end. And they're just our anchor points as well, so there's no tension on those. Peel our backing paper off most of the way along so we can get uniform tension. And we just take up the slack. So we're going to anchor, take up the slack, and stick down. If we want that muscle or soft tissue boxing for a muscle strain, we can then create a small anchor point in the midpoint here, box up, and we want to finish above where the tear or strain is. So we're going to box everything together, tension on, stick down, and then another nice anchor point with no tension above. Pull any creases out. We'll often see the tissue boxing up, but we don't want folds underneath the tape itself. We can then maximize that boxing by bringing in some additional strips longitudinally, or if it's very acute, we may even create a cross-hatch situation through that hamstring. So we can come in with another strip medially. So start in the same direction. We're going to go from that distal end proximally, so from this free end back to the stable base. Anchor, box everything together, and stick down. And we can do another laterally. So anchor once again with the thumb, pull all the tissue together to maximally box it, tension on, and then stick down. Hold very well on those anchor points particularly and behind the knee. Good 30 seconds to a minute to maximise that adhesion. In some instances you might find it beneficial to have a little locking off strip either just above and just below the knee to ensure that this stays in place over that hollow area at the back of the knee.